Next on Worcester News tonight, addressing a housing crisis and its impact on the economy. A state senator discusses the need for more housing in Worcester. Plus, in an effort to make the city healthier, advocates are encouraging people to ride their bikes. But it poses the question, is Worcester bicycle friendly? Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Some downpours threatening parts of our area just in time for the evening commute. There is the potential for thunderstorms and localized flooding. Let's get a first look at our local forecast with meteorologist Pamela Gardner to see what the rest of the evening has in store.
Hey there, good evening. Across Worcester County, we continue to see these showers taper off in intensity and in coverage. So overnight tonight, we're going to gradually dry out in terms of rainfall. Now, it's still going to be sticky. The humidity will be high. Our temperatures will be in the 60s, and watch out for some areas of fog to develop into your Wednesday morning forecast. For Worcester, though, our temperatures stay in the 60s overnight tonight, and it will be awfully humid. Overnight lows ultimately dipping to 66 degrees. Boston 69, 63 degrees in Springfield, with decreasing chances for rain. In our forecast, though, we're going to continue to see the humidity sticking around the next couple of days. Pop-up shower chance perhaps as we go into late Wednesday, maybe even into late Thursday. Mostly a dry end of the week forecast, but more summer heat on the way too, when we could see more 80-degree high temperatures in your exclusive 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Pamela. Worcester may be in the middle of a renaissance, but there is concern the city's housing options are not growing as quickly as other development. At a meeting Tuesday, city and state leaders say there are tools available to help support housing construction for all income levels. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now to explain. Chandler.
Olivia, the state's Committee on Housing chair came here to Worcester today. He says housing is one of the most pressing issues in the state, and current housing bills could make building new units like the ones behind me easier. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce says the city is growing too fast for its available housing stock. Alex Guardiola says people are getting priced out, being forced to move elsewhere.
How do we keep everybody, housed in the city? We have to make sure that everything is at a price point that we can all afford.
Guardiola worries how the problem will affect Worcester's future.
Folks can't afford to live in the core area of Boston. We don't want that to become the future of Worcester.
Lawmakers are working on a number of bills to increase housing production, including the governor's Housing Choice Bill. Senator Brendan Creighton is chair of the state's Joint Committee on Housing. He says the state needs hundreds of thousands more units to meet demand.
With the status quo, you'll continue to see communities not building the housing they need to sustain their local economy. I think prices will continue to rise.
Creighton says Massachusetts is one of the most expensive states to live in because it hasn't kept up with production. And the state is building half the amount of units it did 40 years ago.
Money has to be a part of it, part of the discussion, making sure that folks can afford where they're living. Certainly, it's a decision for many people, and it's horrible to say this, whether they're going to pay their rent or buy food or go to that medical appointment.
The chamber supports the current housing bills. Guardiola says Worcester needs more housing at all income levels, especially affordable and market rate for the workforce.
I think what it will do is it'll allow new companies to come in knowing that there's a good population of workforce available for them, and it will make sure that the city continues to grow on the economic level.
And when it comes to affordable housing, the Worcester Community Action Council says the demand has been constantly increasing and the number of people looking for homelessness prevention funds is growing. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester police and city leaders are working to crack down on dirt bike use. They are illegal to ride on city streets, and with summer weather here, they appear to be back anyways. This was video taken Monday of a man riding down Shrewsbury Street. Police say in another instance, a rider nearly struck an officer while on his bike. The officer was working a detail when the dirt bike rider almost hit him. The rider is facing multiple charges, including assault and failing to stop for police. If you plan on traveling for the 4th of July, you should also want to plan for the traffic. AAA Northeast says they are expecting record-breaking numbers this Independence Day. They expect close to 49 million Americans will travel, which is about 2 million more than last year. According to AAA, more than 1.3 million Massachusetts residents will be getting away for the holiday. They predict the greatest amount of congestion on the roads will be Wednesday, July 3rd. And ahead of the 4th of July holiday, local police departments are reminding residents fireworks are illegal in Massachusetts, but some companies who sell the products just over the state border say they benefit from the business of people buying them out of state. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now to explain. Brittany.
Olivia, TNT Fireworks sets up a tent just over the border. They have been in the location for just over a decade and say it's a popular spot. The week before the 4th of July is busy for TNT Fireworks.
Hundreds, yeah. It's very good traffic being set up right here on the main road.
The TNT tent is located just over the border on Route 131 in Connecticut. Sales are legal here, but are illegal in Massachusetts. Worcester police say around the holiday, they receive dozens of calls for people setting off fireworks, and it's dangerous.
Pose an issue because they provide easy access for the public to just cross over the border to places like New Hampshire and Connecticut and buy them and then transport them back over. They explode and often cause injury.
We get a lot of calls about it. Again, it's generally not a top priority when we have violent things going on. And we understand people like to celebrate, but it is against the law, like I said, and anyone who decides to do that has to be careful, and they can potentially face criminal charges. We have extra officers on the road on busy days, and we respond to calls when people call in with disturbances.
The stand has been in the same location for 15 years. Operator Heidi McLaughlin says since there are no fireworks shops in Massachusetts, people crossing the border does boost their business.
I have no control over who buys. I don't card people to find out if they're from Connecticut or not, but it does help sales.
McLaughlin says sparklers are always a big seller along with their 4th of July packages. She says fireworks are a staple of any 4th of July celebration.
Get lots of color, snaps, cracks, pops, whistles, things like that. Everyone grew up with fireworks and things that a family can do together. It's the aspect of bringing old school things to now for our kids to enjoy.
But again, here in Massachusetts, they are illegal in your backyard. According to the state's fire marshal, even sparklers burn at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Olivia, back to you.
All right, Brittany, thank you for that information. A former nightclub in Worcester's Canal District is set to become a new business. Mambo Drink had a history of liquor license violations and brawls outside of the club. At one point, it was put on a 6-month probation by the city's license commission. Now, in an effort to bring new light to Water Street, Moonshiner's Country Bar will take over where Mambo Drink was. The new owner says they will be the only country bar with live country music every weekend in Worcester. They expect to open their doors this August or September. In an effort to improve bicycling in Massachusetts, Mass Bike is holding summits across the state. The bike advocacy group says riding is great for both mental and physical health, but if your city or town isn't equipped for it, it may be difficult. Now there's an effort to make Worcester more accessible for riders. Our Roslyn Flaherty was at today's summit. She joins us live now with more. Roslyn.
Olivia, Mass Bike wants to make roadways and neighborhoods safer for bikers. They say the current infrastructure doesn't provide for it and say Kelly Square is a major focus. Riding a bicycle on the streets of Worcester can be dangerous, but advocates are trying to change that.
I don't like the idea of take your lane. I kind of like the idea of share and negotiate your lane.
Tuesday, Mass Bike held a Worcester Bike Summit. Executive Director Galen Mook says the Blackstone Heritage Corridor is a great place to ride, but he wants to know how to connect it to Worcester's neighborhoods because cycling is a good way to keep people healthy.
That go out to the people who actually probably need to ride the most, who have, either the economic needs or the health needs, or, the aging population needs that they really need to get out and ride a bike.
The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce says people have to be brave to bike through much of the city. It's something they are also working to improve on.
How can we move the needle a little, implement some infrastructure and some safety?
Mook says a lot of infrastructure in the state doesn't provide a safe space for biking. According to the company who's redesigning Kelly Square, there were 195 crashes between 2013 and 2016.
It's a badge of honor if you make it through Kelly Square, right? But they are redesigning the square to fit more modes.
The new Peanut plan is expected to make it safer for pedestrians and bikers. Mook says it's a great step to make riding safer.
I am confident we are going to see a much safer and probably an easier flow for drivers as well through Kelly Square once this project is wrapped up.
Kelly Square construction is expected to be completed in November of 2020. Live in Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A pharmaceutical company with a bioresearch center in Worcester is expected to purchase Botox maker Allergan for about $63 billion. Abbvie's bioresearch center in Worcester employs close to 900 people. Each shareholder of Allergan will receive around $188 per share in cash and stock. When complete, 83% of the company will be owned by Abbvie shareholders. Closing is expected in early 2020. A local man needs to have brain surgery, and a GoFundMe page is helping him pay for it. Manuel had his first procedure nearly 20 years ago. A recent accident is forcing him to come up with funds sooner than he anticipated for another one. Our Cam Jandro has the story.
Manuel Malocho had his first brain surgery 18 years ago. After a recent fall, he was told he needs another one.
And when he went to the emergency room, they found that the shunt had actually broken in his shoulder.
Malocho has the shunt to help properly drain fluid from his brain. In an effort to raise money for the procedure, longtime friend Andrea Cruz set up a GoFundMe. The goal was $5,000. They hit $10,000 in less than 4 days.
And he never imagined that the Worcester community would step up in such a big way as they have.
The father of 5 is currently working 2 full-time jobs. One as a parking attendant and the other at a meatpacking facility.
For Manuel to be able to take a break and recover fully and be relaxed in doing so, not having to worry to have to work the 2 jobs, is really encouraging for me.
Manuel left Ecuador for the U.S. 20 years ago. He says he was left with no money after his first surgery, but feels better this time around.
His first surgery, he was new here. He's much more positive going into it, knowing that he has the community he has here.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.